is the 11th of Muharram?
It's the
Shia thing.
I like the Shias though as well. They're good.
I'll tell you something
I'm
about
not
there is something similar between the Shias and the Sikhs. I'll tell you
that's what I like.
what that is.
And look what they trust me now. Look, you trust me. We need to talk about the hijab as well, because I do love the hijab. I think if more women wore the hijab, it would be a good thing. So I do agree with a lot of things.
Good.
I don't agree with the burqa though.
Good.
Or the niqab.
If Islam is false, it is false whether you draw or not. So your drawing or not drawing doesn't make a difference to Islam.
All right, tell me this, yeah? Look at this.
Yeah.
I love these two little dogs, yeah? Can I keep them in my house? One's a black stag.
Yeah, you can. We have kept
They
dogs.
sleep on me and lick me?
If you want it, I don't want to go far.
No. But I'm saying there's little
that
things
doesn't
like
change. No, Raj, listen. None of these things make a difference to a Muslim in the sense that his conviction changes. If a person believes there's only one God and Prophet Muhammad is true, like Guru Nanak ji believed.
What you said?
Yeah, which he said. If Prophet Muhammad is true, what the Guru Nanak ji said, then the Sikh religion is not true.
I'm also.
Do you understand that?
I'm against
you
halal as
understand?
well.
Yeah.
Because I used to be a vegan. I do animal cruelty artwork. How can I be Muslim and believe in halal? So I'm very famous for my animal cruelty artwork.
Again, you're missing the point.
But I'm saying
your personal inclinations, whether you want to draw, whether you want to smoke, whether you want to have hamburgers, whether you want to
eat meat or do anything like that.
No problem.
But what I'm trying to say to you is that
conviction and intellectual position has nothing to do with your habits. If you want to do something as a habit, if you like doing something, if you have inclination towards a particular if you're inclined towards a particular view on sexuality or even dietary laws or something like that, that doesn't make any difference to Islam. Islam has its positions.
I'm strongly against ritualized slaughter of animals. I used to be a vegan, so my particular standpoint on even eating meat is very strong. Yeah, and I'm going to become vegan again. So how can I condone even kosher meat, any meat, even the factory farming? I disagree with all of it. But I think the worst ones are the religious laws.
What's your reason for not eating meat? Pain it causes to animals?
Yeah, because I don't think I have a right.
Do you know?
It's not about pain. I don't think I have a right to eat another animal in this day and age.
Good.
Now, in the time of the
why is that?
Because there's enough food that is not meat or is not dairy driven.
So what do you when you say food?
Look at the size of me, man. I've been vegetarian all my life.
I understand that.
So people say to me, I can't be vegetarian. They say I'm too fat.
I respect that. I'm asking a question. You're saying that there's enough food for us to kill other animals or other beings, right?
Now, what I'm trying to say to you is, in this day and age, there is enough substitutes that we don't have to eat meat if we don't have to.
But why would you not eat meat? What's your primary reason for not eating meat?
Because I think it's cruelty to eat animals.
Okay. Do you eat vegetables?
This is an argument I've had, and it's pointless.
Vegetables are also living beings.
Pointless.
Plants are also living beings. You know the trees, they feel pain.
I know what you're saying, but what I'm trying to say to you is that in a tangible way,
so this argument
I can see that animals like pigs, sheep and everything are being bred. Yeah, and it also, in the old days, if you had a farm, I'm not against eating meat per se, but about mass slaughter of meat and ritualistic slaughter.
Do you know how Islamic instructions are to slaughter animals?
And I think it's very barbaric.
And what is it?
And including kosher.
No,
you have to go through the artery and cut the nerves.
Right.
And I think it's a very cruel way. Remember, I think all of the factory farming is cruel as well. They're all as cruel as each other. So when I'm condemning you, I'm condemning them.
Are you aware of Islamic methods of slaughtering animals for food? Are you aware of them?
I'm aware to a certain degree.
What are they? What are the instructions by the Prophet?
It needs to be quick, painless, and you need to cut the artery to make sure that they bleed out quickly. And
let me give you some of them. You cannot slaughter animals in front of each other.
Yeah.
You must feed the animal and give water to the animal, and you must be very gentle, as gentle as possible to the animal, because you're doing it for a reason which the animal was created. We believe the animals are there to serve us. This is why they haven't been given the intellect we have.
But this is the difference we have.
Okay, no problem.
I believe
you have a different view.
to have their own beings and their own lives. They may not think like us. We can't comprehend what a dolphin thinks, but they have their own particular way of life. They're not food for us. I always give the kind of example, if an alien race came down today that are much more civilized than us and could not understand us, and they started hanging you up on your children because you don't communicate the way they do, how would you feel? Because that could happen.
But they don't have
but they can't. The same way we can't understand a dolphin, but they're extremely intelligent. They communicate in a completely different way.
How I would feel.
Yeah? But for an alien being that has never seen a human being or spoken to
The
them,
animal will eat us.
and they came here,
There's no
they
plantation.
wouldn't see you as food.
I'm
Because you
aware
are
of
a
that.
dumb
Yeah.
animal.
The issue is, it's not about how intelligent a certain animal is. Horse, for example, is a lot more intelligent than monkeys, right? Dogs are very intelligent.
Pigs are very intelligent.
Pigs are intelligent, very intelligent.
Dolphins are the most.
Okay, now this doesn't mean that they have the level of consciousness we have. You know, do you remember as a child, I'm sure you were immunized, right? Do you remember when you were given an injection?
Yeah, of course.
As a baby?
Not as a baby, but as I got older.
Okay, why don't you remember when certain things happened to you as a baby? Why don't you remember them?
Well, I don't know the exact reasons, but I know most things.
No, when I'm saying when you were 2 months old, when you were 2 months old, I remember that when I was 4 years old, my sister, as a joke, there were guys going around in the streets, you know, giving injections to kids, and my sister didn't even know what the injections was for. She took me, you know, she kind of like deceived me, and she said, okay, I'm gonna go and buy you a sweet. I was 4 at the time, I remember that. So I remember going into a crowd and my sister pushed me forward, just as a joke, yeah? And then the guys, you know, they were two big guys here. One of them grabbed me, the other one pulled my, my trousers down, an injection. And I was crying. I didn't know what happened to me. My mom was screaming her head off. She was having a go at my sister. What did you do with him? What injection was it? She didn't even know. So I remember that. I remember that. You know, my sister still laughs about it. I remember that. Okay, I was 4. But I don't remember when I was a baby, like 2 months old, or 3 months old, or 5 months, 6 months old, when I was given all these. I've got marks here on my arm. You know, yeah. I don't remember because of the level of consciousness. I didn't have the consciousness I have today. As a child, your consciousness is still growing. Likewise, animals, you know, do not have the level of consciousness we humans have. That's why pain in the real world doesn't actually mean anything to them. So when you slaughter them, okay, they don't know they're being slaughtered.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of videos.
They do feel pain. I'm not saying they don't feel pain. Like a child cries.
I've seen a lot of videos of cows crying for their calves.
Yes.
And it's so sad.
I acknowledge that. Yeah.
So they do have it. Just because you can't understand
There's
their
a baby
emotions,
cry. There's a baby cry for mother.
Just because you don't understand their emotions, because as a human being we have a different way of thinking. It's the same way as that we could never understand what a dolphin thinks. But dolphins have a high capacity for intellect. They just communicate and think in a different way. So for me, we have a very, very different view on animal cruelty. For me, I don't believe animals are here to be eaten. Yeah, that's why I'm a vegetarian. I was a vegan. I'm going to become a vegan. And it's also intellect for my faith as well.
But then you're eating vegetables. They also feel pain. You're also killing living beings there. If you cut a tree, if you cut crops, if you're eating cabbage, if you're eating tomatoes or potato or whatever, they also feel pain. You may not be aware of that pain. You may not be conscious of that pain. So if you can't eat meat, if you can't eat vegetables, then die.
I completely
then die because you're causing pain to all these living beings. Then you might as well die.
Can I just say the difference between a potato and a living being is that nearly all living beings, maybe a jellyfish hasn't, has internal organs. It will at least have a heart and it will at least have a brain. Whether it's a small brain or a big brain. A potato does not have nothing within it. Yeah, it's mainly water. Yeah, so you using that comparison is not the right comparison in my opinion, because eating a carrot is no way the same.
Are you saying plants have no sense of consciousness? Is that what you're saying?
I cannot prove or disprove that.
Physical brain is not the issue here. The issue is consciousness. The issue is consciousness. Okay, plants, we know for a fact, plants have consciousness, right? For example, there's a plant, you touch it, it goes, it changes its position, its appearance, right? And there are many more examples I can give in that regard. My question is, or my point is that being vegan, just because you're causing pain to animals or you don't have the right to kill other beings for your food, then extend that to plants and habitation, or crops. or cabbage or potato or okra or name it. You know, there is such a vast variety of things.
I've heard the argument a lot, and I can't disprove it or prove it. I don't know what the conscience says of a potato or a crop is. One thing is, I don't want to talk about religion, but I have to say that it is part of my religious faith. Sikhs are supposed to be vegetarian. Also, we believe in reincarnation.
You think it's from Hinduism, this influence?
I'm not going to talk about that, but all I'm saying, I believe in reincarnation. So that in itself would mean that I am eating a living being that might have been from myself.
Do you accept the fact that a lot of influences within the Sikh religion came from Hinduism?
I would accept it the same way that Judaism and Christianity influence Islam.
Absolutely.
So yes.
I agree, 100%, because we believe...
The truth is in everything.
But we believe
the truth.
No, in Hinduism we don't believe there is for example, the Gurus rejected paganism.
Yeah.
The Gurus rejected polytheism because Guru Nanak Ji was a strict monotheist. Why was he a strict monotheist? Because according to whatever we know of him from history, he was mixing with Muslim mystics. He was a Sufi. Mardana was one of his companions. But Guru Nanak Ji had many other teachers.
He was a big...
There are apocryphal or legend.
Well, his biggest influence was Baba Farid.
Exactly.
So Baba
and Baba Farid Fariduddin Ganchakar was a Chishti. He was a Chishti Sufi who came to India, or he was in India in the 13th century, if I'm not mistaken, because he was one of the teachers of Nizamuddin Awliya, who is in Delhi. Okay, so these are Sufi preachers who are going around, and you know, we come back to our point about conversion, mass conversion. What you don't realize is that mass conversion only took place in India in two provinces, two regions, the Bengal region and the Punjab region. There is no other mass conversion in India.
Let's not go into this topic, man. You know how...
No, I'm just giving my view. And I have given my sources already to that. If you go on that comment,
I feel myself twitching a bit.
I have posted extensive researches on that point, that there are scholars who have extensively conducted researches into this question as to why people converted in the hundreds of thousands to Islam, in particular in Bengal and in the Punjab region. Why?
Remember, look,
because this is where the Sufi activity was
in Punjab. There's a district called Faridkot.
Yeah.
And it's named after Baba Farid.
Yes.
There's a Gurdwara in there called Faridkot Gurdwara, and we have Gurdwara dedicated. We have times of the year where we honor him.
So how can the Sikhs? How can some Sikhs? I'm not all Sikhs. How can some Sikhs have this so much vendetta and so much hatred for Islam?
Muslims. I love them.
But then he has to show. Then he has to come out. Like with us. Look, it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
Pakistan supported the Khalistan movement. Everyone knows that. Okay, even the Sikh leaders, you know, when they escaped from India in 1984, when Indira Gandhi decided to invade Akal Takht, you know, the Golden Temple, it was very unfortunate. It was a disaster. It was a catastrophe on a grand scale. It's like someone invading the Kaaba. Okay, for us Muslims. Yeah. So a lot of the Sikh leaders, you know, when they escaped, where they went to Pakistan.
I know that.
Okay, so Pakistan, the Muslims, despite all the history, they supported the Sikh cause. One may argue they did it for political reasons. They did it to destabilize India, which is a valid argument.
And that's the reason why they did it.
Yeah.
They don't do it because they're looking for a Sikh homeland.
No, but then
if they really did, we should have had a united Punjab.
But Raj, today in Pakistan there are Sikhs. I have seen them myself in Peshawar. There are large communities, and you know what? A lot of people they come out and they say, oh, the minorities in Pakistan are very kind of persecuted. The Sikhs and the Hindus and the Christians. No, you're not saying that. There are people out there who are doing this bakwas. In particular,
videos of this armed guards around the Gurdwara. And it's
exactly. I'll tell you what happened to me. I went to the Gurdwara, the Mandi, you know, in Lahore, right next to the Lahore Shahi Killa. Maharaja Ranjit Singh made this Gurdwara. I went there. This is recently. I said, can I go inside and look? They said, no. There were Sikh guards there. They said, no, sorry, you can't go in. I said, why? They said, because security concerns. I said, no problem. I appreciate that. I understand that. I walked away. There are Sikh individuals in Pakistan. You know, there was an experiment done recently, a social experiment.
Oh, no,
You've seen it. That's Pakistan. I bet you do that experiment in India, in some Hindu areas, with a Sikh or with a Muslim or with a Dalit. Okay, you will not see people intervene.
Let me clarify.
That will not
something.
happen in India.
I do not support India either.
Yeah.
I'm against the Indian government because they're persecuting Sikhs. I'm not necessarily Palestinian.
What about Muslims and Christians and Dalits? Do you feel for them as well?
Yeah, everyone's been persecuted under the BJP.
That's right. That's right.
We're under a constitution where Sikhs and Jains and Buddhists are just Hindus. We don't even have our own distinct religion. So we are being
I think that was changed.
It hasn't been changed. It's still on the books.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Because Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwala,
that was his proposal. It never was.
Yeah, because this is one of the reasons he was actually asking the government to recognize us as a separate religion because we're not Hindus.
The BJP is a fascist,
absolutely
party. I'm massively against it because they're persecuting everybody.
A lot of people are asking these questions out there. In particular from me, that what Raj discussed about, the Guru's sons being killed and Guru Tegh Bahadur being killed for not converting to Islam, how true are these stories? And I want to clarify that there is a Sikh tradition that gives out these stories. As far as the other traditions are concerned, these stories are non-existent. For example, the story about the Kashmiri Pandits, it cannot be found in any sources. Okay, it purely comes from Sikh tradition, which is highly questionable. Not because I'm a Muslim. Okay, historically speaking, being honest and straightforward about history, these traditions are highly questionable.
Can I respond?
In the authenticity.
I understand that history is not always 100% accurate.
It's not.
And I'm not.
A lot of the time it's hearsay and legend.
There will be distortions over time through people and biases.
Yes.
I have no issue with that.
Yeah.
Do I think their story was exactly how it's written? No, there's a little bit of kind of like what I call a little bit of salt put into it, and a little bit of extra added for maybe dramatic purposes. But there's no doubt that these people were executed. That's 110%.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Guru Tegh Bahadur was executed, no doubt.
And the boys were executed.
And two of the sons, Guru Gobind Singh's sons, were killed in battle. They were killed in battle.
The 6 and 9-year-old kids.
Yeah, they were. Now those two, the details about them. There's a story like today. This today is the 11th of Muharram.
It's the
Shia thing.
I like the Shias though as well. They're good guys.
I'll tell you something about. There is something similar between the Shias and the Sikhs. I'll tell you what that is. The Shia have built a lot of detail around the martyrdom of Hussein.
Yeah.
Hussein was killed in the year 61 of Islam in Iraq by the so-called Muslim governor of Kufa. There was a city called Kufa. Now, we know Hussein was killed, and he was killed in a brutal fashion. His family was decimated. There was only one male survivor. His name was Zainul Abidin, one of the younger sons of Hussein. Okay, he survived. He was the only male survivor. We know that, and we acknowledge that this happened. But the detail around it, that Hussein cried, the child cried, she said this, he said that, she cried like this, he waved his sword like that, he was sitting on the horse like that, then he descended from the horse. All this detail, as if someone was actually standing there with a sketchbook, drawing all this, or writing all these details, and he was able to go to every single person to take these details down. Likewise, the Sikh detail around the killing of the Guru's sons is so vast, it's so exhaustive and so detailed that it is impossible for it to be accurate. It is impossible. Like for example, I'll give you an example. We the Muslims, we have narratives about the Prophet. For example, our Prophet said X, Y, and Z. Okay, and these are anecdotes. These are literally, you know how we get the Prophet's history? It comes to us in patches. It's not like once upon a time, there was a Muhammad, he went around, he preached, he did that, he did. No, we don't get our history like that. Our history comes, so-and-so said so-and-so, so-and-so said such and such, and he narrates from such and such, and so-and-so, he narrates from so-and-so, and he narrates from the Prophet. So we have a chain of individuals, I'm finishing right now. We have a chain of this individuals, an uninterrupted chain, one generation narrating from an earlier generation and going back to the Prophet directly. And then what do they give us? They give us like a paragraph. at so-and-so place, this is what happened, and that's how we saw it, and period. It's not a narrative, it's anecdotal, right? So now,
I need to,
that's why we believe it's
I need to interject.
authentic. So I'm not a hypocrite to judge your history in one way and not judge my own in another.
But the thing is, let me say something. I agree with you, and I've said that history can be exaggerated, and it can be manipulated.
Yes.
But the overall end of the historical part that 2 boys were executed at 6 and 9 is fact. The fact that Muhammad was executed for his religion was fact.
No.
How the process got there is up for discussion, and I believe it 100%. You don't. But the end result is the same. 2 boys who were 6 and 9 were written up alive, executed for not converting to
I don't believe that.
Well, that's up to you, but I believe it 100%. I believe it so much. In that book, I've done a drawing of it. And it's a very famous drawing.
No,
so I'm the wrong person to talk to because I've done like 30 C cards on a lot of the atrocities of Mughal India.
You feel a lot about it.
That's how I learned about the history.
I agree.
Yeah?
I accept that you feel you're very sentimental
It's not
about
that
it.
feeling.
There is a story that is out there and you believe in it. I have no problem with
It's not a story, it's an historical fact.
It's not a fact.
That's for you. That's what you
That
said.
those 2 boys were put in the wall alive is not a fact. I will never accept it. Why? Because I believe it doesn't come from trustworthy sources.
Did I die?
Right? Sorry?
Were there 2 dead bodies?
Okay. This is the question.
Just acknowledge one thing.
Okay.
Was there 2 dead bodies of the 2 boys?
Let's
Because we
assume.
know they were there. The dead bodies were there. How they got there and who did it is up for discussion.
Let's
just determine one thing. Were there 2 dead bodies of 2 boys, 6 and 9, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the last Guru's sons? Do you agree were there were 2 bodies?
The Sikh tradition.
Did they die? Because we know there was no descendants from them.
The Sikh tradition.
We know they died at 6 and 9.
Okay.
So you agree that
So
they
can
died?
the Sikh tradition tells us there were dead bodies and they were killed in this way. Okay? I know. I saw
This is my drawing of it. You want to see it?
Yeah. Of those 2 boys.
Boys being bricked up. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of artwork.
Okay.
So I'm probably not the person to speak to about saying it didn't happen because I believe in it so strongly
I'll give you an example.
that even if you gave me...
I'll give you a stronger example. Sikhs are very few in numbers, right? In comparison to Christians and Muslims,
Yes, 30
right?
million.
Yeah, exactly. Christianity, the entire religion, is based upon a notion that God was crucified on the cross and he rose on the 3rd day. And every single Christian on the planet who professes belief in Christianity accepts that as there's a gospel truth. It is true to them. It is a fact. They cannot, put it aside, right? But historically, there is no way to establish that that's exactly what happened. I'll tell you why.
You could say the same thing about Islam.
Yes.
A lot of the narrations were done 200 years after or put into paper 200 years after.
True.
So if we want to go down the route
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the positive today.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
It's very positive.
I've noticed
Raj,
that
there are people learning from
on
this.
the internet, they're calling me the hate preacher and Tommy Robinson. I want to show a nice side of myself.
I agree,
So
Raj.
if we start talking about things that are a little bit controversial, let's talk about later on. Let's talk about what I agree with.
You're being respectful to me.
Yeah.
I'm being respectful to you.
Yeah.
We're not shouting and screaming. We're not talking over each other. This is positive, right? And when we discuss matters like this in a respectful fashion, I don't disrespect your religion. You don't disrespect my religion. This is what we call positivity. People should be able to see it out there that people can have intelligent, decent discussions without throwing stones at each other.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, wait, we're finishing some point. One point.
Can I tell you what I find difficult with the chain of narration? Can I tell you my issue with it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna just for argument's sake say that Muhammad is infallible.
Yeah.
Just for argument's sake, I don't believe he is. Sorry, Muslims, don't get triggered. Trigger warning on there. On the
No
video.
problem.
I don't think he's perfect, and I also think he may have been a prophet because the Guru said he was a prophet.
Guru Nanak accepted him as a prophet.
As a Sikh,
and
I'm gonna say
if that's the case,
then I say he is, but I think he was
No,
corrupted.
wait.
Oh, but let's
but Guru Nanak said he was a true prophet.
Let me just explain.
Guru Nanak said he was a true
Let me
prophet.
say about the science of the Hadith, which I think is problematic. Yeah,
If
you
Guru
can
Nanak-
answer me. Yeah, you can answer me.
Wait, Raj, one question. If Guru Nanak Ji is telling the truth, then you have a problem.
No, I don't.
And if he's lying, then you still have a problem.
He criticizes them.
Because if Guru is lying, then Guru is lying. Then he cannot be Guru
if you
if he's lying.
if you
Okay,
listen to
wait.
his saying-
But if he's telling the truth, then Islam is true Therefore, Sikhism is not true.
Guru Nanak Dev Ji said that there was truth in all religions, including Islam. It doesn't mean truth is not specific to you. Yeah? All religions has elements of truth in them. And so, even though he said that Islam and you could be a Muslim, I believe as a Sikh that everybody can go to heaven. Everybody. Yeah? It's just a matter of whether you follow certain beliefs that I don't believe that are maybe not in the Quran. And the reason why I'm going to say I believe certain beliefs are man-made and certain beliefs may be from God is because the science of the Hadith, in my opinion, is flawed. And can I explain to you why I think it's flawed? Now,
when you say my opinion, okay. Have you read it extensively?
No, I'm just going to give you my opinion today.
Wait. Raj, if you have an opinion on something, having studied it, I will with all my heart, all my mind, all my soul, accept your opinion as your opinion, and I'll respect it. But if you haven't studied a science, if for example, if I came to the park and I said, in my opinion, the science of engineering or the science of astronomy is false, it's flawed, it's bakwas, it's bullshit. If I said that to use extreme words, right? What would you think of me? You would ask me the first question, what do you know about astronomy? What do you know about engineering? What do you know about these sciences? I would say, sorry, I haven't studied that. You say you're a fool.
All right, let me say it. This is my opinion. Trigger warning on there, please. Have it like flashing.
But your opinion is ill-informed.
People get quite upset on the net. So let's just calm them down. I always give a trigger warning whenever I'm going to say something controversial. What it is this. My problem with the Hadith, I read the Quran and I agree with a lot. Like I said, I agree with 70% of Islam. But I believe a lot of the corruption has come from the Hadiths, in my opinion. This is an opinion. The reason why I say that, even if I believe that Muhammad, because the Guru Nanak said he was a prophet, that he was infallible and perfect, which I don't believe he was perfect, but he might be.
We don't claim he was perfect.
I don't know, but
Islam doesn't claim he was perfect.
Let me just carry on.
Perfect. Only Allah is perfect.
What I have an issue with is that when someone in a room, say Aisha, is talking to Muhammad, she's having a conversation with him. Is Aisha, is a human being and flawed?
Flawed? You mean flawed?
Well, everybody's flawed.
You mean fallible?
Yeah, fallible. Yeah. Can make mistakes.
Aisha can make mistakes,
so when she's talking to Muhammad, Muhammad may have said something great and may have said something perfect from God.
Yes.
When she goes back to the third person and narrates it to him.
Guys, do you mind we move next to the grill because there's less noise there, and I wanna lean back. I'll give you a very short answer because we're in the middle of a discussion.
Yeah, of course, I understand that. No, it was just basically what you said about the Bible. You said about the Christians believe about Jesus rising after going on the cross.
Yes.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what it says in the Quran about that, because I know Jesus Christ is in the Quran.
Yes.
So I just wanted you to elaborate a little bit just on what they say about that certain instances.
The Quran says he was not killed, he was not crucified.
Okay.
Full stop. Period.
Okay. I just wanted to
the Quran in chapter 4 verse 157 to 159 it clearly categorically states when the Israelites claimed that they killed him because the Jewish people at the time claimed that they were the ones responsible for his punishment as an imposter, as a liar, because they claimed he was a liar. And the Quran says their claim that they killed him is a lie. Because he was not killed, he was not crucified.
So
period.
How do we distinguish which one?
That's now we're going into another discussion.
How do you distinguish which is the true story, whether the Christians?
Go and watch. There are hundreds of debates between myself and other people, and they've debated this topic. Did Jesus die on the cross? Yeah. Do that, please.
So do we need to start the conversation here? Shall we start from afresh?
No. We were discussing something about Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to make the case that, like I said,
that Aisha was fallible.
No, what I'm saying is that just for argument's sake, I don't believe Muhammad was perfect. But for argument's sake, let's say he was perfect and infallible for making mistakes. Now, my issue with the Hadiths, and not necessarily the Quran, is that you have a situation where you have, say like me and you in a room and there's no third party. You may be, just say for argument's sake, I know, trigger warning please, you're Muhammad, you're not.
Let's assume Muhammad is there,
just say he's there, Aisha is having a conversation, with Muhammad. Muhammad has given her some revelation from God, which is amazing. Do you agree that Aisha is, before we go in, is Aisha fallible to make mistakes?
Yes.
So what would
Aisha can make mistakes.
So what would happen if when Aisha leaves the room, she goes to a third person, and then she says that Prophet Muhammad says this. but she has made mistakes
Yes.
into interpretation.
Yes.
So the message originally may have been right, yeah, but the interpretation as it goes to the third person becomes corrupted.
That's a very
that
good
can
point.
go down a long chain of narrations.
Yes, that's a very good point you made. You see,
And not just with
if
Aisha.
Aisha was the only source of Islam,
Or any of the beliefs or any of the...
that's a very good point you make now. This is why I asked you this question: have you actually studied the science of Hadith? Because when you do, you come to realize that some of the reports of the Prophet become so, how can I put it, so much multiply attested that they become impossible to be false or a lie. I'll give you an example. Let's say Aisha says something, and then another companion comes along. He confirms what Aisha said.
But he wasn't in the room though.
He wasn't in the room.
So how can he confirm what
Okay,
he said?
about what Aisha said, okay,
It's still third person. This is the
Right,
problem.
right.
Unless he was physically in the room,
Right.
he cannot 100% say. So, you know, the Arabic language is very complicated and has multiple words and multiple meanings to particular words. All she has to do is to say one word wrong or one. She's a human being. Obviously, she's fallible. So the science of the Hadith is very flawed.
no, it's not flawed.
Because from the
When you use
beginning-
the word flawed,
Well, it is.
you are sinking the ship just because you see
flaw-
you see the fault. Maybe the way you see it, you see the fault, maybe a scratch on the body of the ship. We should drown the ship. No, it doesn't work like that. The ship, the vessel, is still floating for the
So
last 14th
explain to
century.
me how
I'll explain.
the
I'll explain
message would
how
be
it works.
corrected.
Certain things Aisha said. You raised a very, very valid point. No doubt, it's an intelligent point. Certain things, because of that reason, because Aisha radiallahu anha, she was alone in having certain opinions, and other companions of the Prophet who had heard from the Prophet complimentary information, which corrected Aisha, they rejected what Aisha said. For example, one of the views Aisha held was that giving milk to a child a certain amount of times, a certain number of times, that child becomes your mahram. Mahram is that you no longer have to cover yourself from him. It becomes your like a son, like foster son. Yeah. So how do we establish foster relationships with a child or with a person? Aisha had one view, and other companions, they didn't accept it. They said, no, sorry, Aisha's mistaken here.
was Aisha
She has
lying?
misunderstood. No, of course they said she made a mistake. She had an error in judgment. When someone makes a mistake, if Raj makes a mistake, I'm not going to say Raj is a liar. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say Raj made a mistake, right? So we have this mechanism in Hadith science. Okay, it's not as blind as Aisha said it. Allah, we bow to
Can I just
Aisha.
ask
No, wait,
something
let me
to you?
finish. Let me finish very quickly. We have a system where the reports of the Prophet ﷺ are multiply attested. He had over 100,000 companions, and out of those 100,000, we know 10,000 by name. 10,000 of them, we know them by name. We know who they were, where they came from, what they did, and how long they lived. The last one to die died in 110. His name was Amir Abu Tufail. Okay, he died in 110, exactly a century after, nearly 99 years after the Prophet's death. When the Prophet was alive, he was nearly 10 years old. When Prophet died, and he lived for nearly 109, 110 years old. Okay,
Can I ask you one question?
So we know exactly when they lived, what they preached, what they taught, and amazingly, when they preached something, like Abu Bakr would say, I heard Prophet saying this. Did anyone else hear this? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people would stand up.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
All right.
See the point?
All right,
Now, do you
all right,
understand
all right.
how tradition is
Can I
preserved?
say something?
Yeah.
All right, let me just clarify. I am not going to contest that there's 3 people in the room that you can claim that source is reliable. What I'm trying to say to you, and I want a percentage from yourself that you might know, how many of the hadiths are just from one person with Muhammad alone? How many of them are that? How many in a percentage? Is it 10%? Because those hadiths then will be unreliable to a certain degree.
No, not necessarily.
Because
no.
unless you
Not
have a third
necessarily.
person in the room,
No.
you're admitting that Aisha and anybody else apart from Prophet Muhammad is fallible. Yeah? So if they're fallible, they could make tiny mistakes, aren't they? So if they were to then come out...
Which they did.
I know, but unless some...
Which they did.
So you agree they did. So even
Yes.
the ones that you can
But
test,
how do we know they made mistakes? How do we know they made
because it
mistakes?
contradicts the Quran.
No,
Or contradicts
no.
Well, that's what I was
Because other companions came forward and they gave the remaining information. They said this is what was missing. So what we do is we have almost about 5,000 to 6,000 reports from the Prophet. Okay, without repetition. For example, if you pick up Bukhari, which is our tradition, which has chains. I'll give you an example. What do we mean by chains? Bukhari, you're right, wrote in the late or the early 3rd century, okay, of Islam. Bukhari was writing at that time. And you will be thinking, hold on a second, Bukhari is 2 centuries apart from the Prophet. How can he get this information, right? Very good point. Bukhari took this information from teachers who were taught by their teachers, and they were taught by their teachers, and they were taught directly by the Prophet. And this was public knowledge. People were taking this knowledge publicly, delivering it publicly, right? For example, Bukhari had a teacher called Abdullah bin Yusuf. Abdullah bin Yusuf taught Bukhari when he was in his 80s or 90s. He was a very old man, okay? Abdullah bin Yusuf took his knowledge from a man called Malik bin Anas. Malik bin Anas also lived a very long life. He was born in 93 or 94 Hijri and died in 179. So he lived nearly 80 plus, how much is that? 80 plus, 86 years old. Malik was taught by Nafi. Nafi was a teacher of Malik, and Nafi was taught by Abdullah bin Umar. Abdullah bin Umar was taught directly by the Prophet. This is an uninterrupted chain. Well, let me finish, Raj, so that you explain. Okay, this is an uninterrupted chain of teachers who are teaching publicly, passing on the tradition. Okay, now this is one chain. One chain. Bukhari has hundreds. Okay, now there are chains where Bukhari has three people between him and the Prophet. Very quickly, I'm finishing now. Yeah, Bukhari had a teacher called Makki ibn Abi Ibrahim. Okay, Makki ibn Abi Ibrahim had a teacher called Yazid ibn Abi Ubaid. Okay, Yazid ibn Abi Ubaid had a teacher called Salma ibn al-Aqwa, who was a direct companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Prophet taught Salma ibn al-Aqwa. Salma ibn al-Aqwa taught Yazid bin Abi Ubaid, and Yazid taught his student Makki ibn Abi Ibrahim, and Makki taught Bukhari. 3 people between Bukhari and Prophet Muhammad, and all 3 of them, they lived long lives, over 70 years old. So when you do the calculation, you come to realize actually historically they did live between this period, and if each one of them is 70 to 80 years old, can easily teach his student, and then his student, and then Bukhari. So historically, we have carried out meticulous research into these topics. We have delicately checked every single report, every single word of Hadith literature has been turned upside down. And you know who the first people are to cast aside certain controversial reports, right? Because they cannot reach the level of certainty we require for our religion. Our own scholars, the Muslim scholars.
No, I need to speak here.
If we apply that standard on the Sikh religion.
Dialogue, not a monologue.
Oh, sorry.
So
Yeah,
the thing is, all right, I'm going to go back to the source. Yeah, you have one individual in a room with Muhammad. There is no third person. Yeah, the person that Muhammad is talking to, if you believe that Muhammad is perfect, then obviously you can say what Muhammad said was perfect. But if the person he's saying it to is imperfect and then leaves the room and then speaks to somebody else and mistranslates or misrepresents what he says, and I'm going to put another thing into it so you can kind of mix it up. Trigger warning again. I understand that Aisha, had issues with one of the caliphs that was later on. There was a bit of kind of political intrigue
Ali
within
she fought a battle with Ali.
So is there, as a person,
and we believe Aisha was wrong.
As a fallible human being who might have had some distrust or hatred towards Ali, may her interpretations that what Muhammad said then be kind of construed to suit her narrative?
She actually did not follow the Prophet in this. Prophet had specifically warned her.
So she lied. It sounds...
No. Look, if someone makes an error of judgment, doesn't make that person a liar. How simple is that, Raj? Is that difficult to understand? If you make an error of judgment, am I saying, Raj, you're a liar, chuta kadhab? Yeah, in Punjabi. I use the Punjabi word as well.
How do you know that she wasn't purposely lying?
No, we have never believed that. We will never believe that. Aisha knew, because the Prophet, peace be upon him, anyone who professed belief in Prophet, and how do we know this person professes belief in the Prophet? Someone who was very diligent in his worship, someone who prayed 5 times a day and did not compromise at all on faith. We know that person was actually truly following the Prophet of Islam. Aisha was one of them. We have no reasons to doubt Aisha's character because Aisha was very diligent in her worship.
So why do Shias distrust the character?
Shias have a completely different tradition.
I'm not trying to cause
no, there's no division.
I like the Shia brothers, no division.
Okay. The Shias have a completely different view on Islamic history. That's why earlier when I said the Sikhs have made up stories.
Let's not go to the Sikhs. Let's go back to the narration.
I'm giving you an example. This is a discussion, right? So I can say what I want. Sikhs have made up stories around the deaths of the 2 of the Guru's sons, right? The detail, how they spoke to their grandmother, how dignified they were. They refused. So wait. They refused to bow to the Mughal pressure. They did not convert to Islam. Okay, all of these details are impossible to ascertain. They are impossible to ascertain. Why? Because we do not have any independent. Even the Sikh tradition casts doubt on these stories. There are Sikh historians who say these stories, we can't really trust them.
We went over this and I said to you that I agree that distortion can happen over history and that people can exaggerate things.
Just like that, the Shias, the Shias have carved so many stories around.
About Aisha?
About Aisha generally.
Aisha.
Okay. Now,
because she has done a lot of narrations, and the Shias are saying that she is distrustful.
Okay,
so how do we know what she said when she was alone in the room with Muhammad? When she walked out, Muhammad could have been the greatest person in the world and talked from God directly and said what God said. We have no reason. But when Aisha got the message, she is a human being who's fallible, and some Shias say that she's actually insincere and maybe even dishonest. She may have walked out and then said something that Muhammad didn't say, and now that is a narration. Yeah,
nothing the Shias claim against the Sunnis is based upon what Aisha said.
I'm not talking about the Shia. I'm just talking about she is a human being that had by Shias.
Look, Raj, you completely ignored what I said earlier.
I know, but what?
Even if your argument was valid, for argument's sake, I like to see territory to gain territory. We have this tactic. You can call it a Mughal tactic, yeah? Yeah? Not Taqiyya is not. Okay, by the way, let me clarify something about Taqiyya.
I do love Taqiyya,
okay.
It's my favorite.
Okay, Raj, can you now be educated on this and put this idea to rest forever, once and for all? We, the Sunnis, do not believe in Taqiyya. We don't believe in Taqiyya. Taqiyya, the way the Shias believe in it. For example, what is Taqiyya? Taqiyya is deliberately lying to hide the truth, to avoid trouble. That's what Taqiyya. To put it in very simple terms. We, the Sunnis, we do not believe it. We believe it's cowardice. We believe it's cowardice. If you study the history of our Imams, some of them were tortured for years by the kings and they didn't do Taqiyya. Okay, so Taqiyya is something which is done under. For example, if someone is about to be killed and the life is threatened and someone is asked, for example, to say something insulting to the Prophet or the Quran, to Allah, so that you can save your life. Like what's happening in India. Hindu mobs are catching Muslim men and women and they are beating them and asking them to say Jai Jai Shri Ram, Jai Jai Shri Ram. Yeah, if you don't say, you'll die. So some of these Muslim poor men, who are surrounded by this mob of wolves and hyenas, they have to say this, right, to save their life. In this case, the Quran is a verse that if you have said a word of kufr, a word of disbelief to save your lives, there is no harm on you so long as there is iman in your heart. Okay, wait. Now, Taqiyya is when there is no threat, no one is threatening you, no one is saying anything to you, you come and lie. And the Shias do this. We don't. The Shia are a minority sect in Islam. Okay, we as Muslims believe that it is a cult. It is not part of mainstream Islam.
I do like my Shia brothers though, so shout out to the Shia brothers. No, I met them over there. They're good guys.
The Shias have their own view, and we have no problem. They have chosen to follow a particular path. We have no problem with that.
But I think Shias are. I don't want to get into this sect, but I think Shias are a bit more. They're more easy to talk to and easier to kind of like discuss about religion, and maybe they're a bit more kind of, I don't know, not so dogged in their approach. When I speak to Shias, I seem to get a different viewpoint, and they're much more tolerant. That's just my view. And Sufis.
Have you found me?
Have you found me
bigoted?
Not you, but generally. generally,
I'm Sunni.
I know, but it's 50,
I'm Sunni, and I try my best to be as
Let me
Sunni as
give you
possible. So don't use this
And if I give
red
you-
herrings.
Let me give you an analogy. Yeah, if you got a dog, yeah, I'm not comparing Muslims to dogs. Like just an analogy. You got a dog, and the dog.
No, don't give that. If you're not comparing, then I can use. I'll use an analogy. You won't like it. You won't like
The
it.
reason I'm saying a dog is because they can be.
No,
vicious.
use a horse. Use a goat, something like that.
Me, man.
Okay.
So I'm
or
not
use
gonna
a camel,
I'm not gonna
something
say I'm
closer
scared
to
of a-
Muslims.
I'm not saying I'm scared of a horse.
Okay, but don't.
Right, so say there's a dog,
Let
me just say, make my analogy.
But don't make.
Have some courtesy.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, exactly. Have some courtesy.
You.
Me.
Yeah, brother.
Me.
Yeah.
He's using dog as an example.
Only analogy.
You just don't like dogs in Islam.
If
that's
I'm
why.
using an analogy,
I love dogs.
If
understand.
I compared you with dogs, how would you feel? If
for the sake of the
I did a
argument.
comparison between you and dogs, how would you feel? You
I
would
just
say
say-
to me, have some courtesy. Thank you.
For the sake of an argument,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm saying if you got a dog, yeah, and the dog, when you try and pet it, it bites you 50% of the time, yeah, you're gonna be more kind of apprehensive about the dog. Now, if the dog licks you and it kind of protects you like 90% of the time, you're gonna be more kind of appreciative of them. So when I meet Shias, I tend to have that reaction. When I meet Shias, it's 50-50.
You're saying the Shias are like dogs.
No, I'm saying Shias.
Dogs that lick you.
No, I'm saying Shias
Yeah, is that what you're
are
saying?
much more.
You're insulting the Shia now.
No, I'm not. I'm saying Shias.
No.
From my,
You could have used another
You're-
example. If I
you're
said,
trying to-
if
you're
I
trying-
talked about Sikhs
you're
and I
trying to
said
storm
there
at
are
me, yeah?
pigs,
No, I didn't say
they
that.
do this and they
I'm
do that.
using
I
the-
would never use an
I'm
example like
using
that.
the dog.
That's insulting.
No, the-
That's.
Can I say something?
That's disgusting
can I say
to use
something?
an example
I
like
love
that.
dogs, yeah. I got two staff.
You love dogs. We don't love
No,
dogs.
Muslims hate dogs, so your kind of perception
don't hate
of what
dogs.
I'm saying is different.
We don't hate
I
dogs.
can't say a horse bites me. Can
We
I?
don't love them.
What do I say?
We don't
You-
love them. We don't hate them, but we don't love
I
them.
can't use a sheep. I can't use a pig. I can't use a thingy. I've got to use an animal that can bite.
Yeah, parrots bite.
Oh my! What is a parrot going to do?
Use a parrot. So try not to be.
No,
Try
come on,
not
man.
to be
And the
provocative.
Sufis, yeah,
This is it.
My
they have
friend, this is a
no
discussion.
issue with the Sufis, though. That's the
This is a
thing.
discussion. Have some courtesy. Have some
Come on,
courtesy.
brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Raj,
Yeah,
going back to our
listen
discussion. Going back to discussion. So coming back to our discussion
I
on.
didn't call Muslim dogs. You guys are great, man. I'm just using an analogy that this guy can't understand.
You're not
He hates
helping
dogs.
yourself, Raj.
I love
Every week
dogs,
you
though.
come, you make yourself look bad.
I know, but I
Calm
don't-
down, man. Can you go back to your earlier mode, the friendly mode, the decent Raj mode, okay? And I know sometimes this comes out. Okay, I can get angry and I can come up with things
You
that
have
you
to
will do.
understand.
You will start cooking it. You know, you start smoking.
Adnan, do you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
I react how people react.
I don't want to
me.
make Sikhs angry out there.
I-
I love the Sikh people. I want to reach out to them. I want them to know that there are Muslims out there who really love and respect you despite all the history. And I don't want to go to the history. Despite all the ugly history we have. Okay? I want to make sure that there is a good example of the Sikhs and the Muslims out there. And don't be a bad example for the Sikhs, please. Stop using dogs as an example.
But they're calling me
Okay?
Tommy Robbins singing and all that. What
Forget them. Forget them. There are idiots out there calling me out, all kind of things.
Dawah channel had a 2-minute video of me. It made me look like some supervillain. Yeah. What do you want me to do? It's like what is
When you work with racist
It was-
scumbags,
oh my God.
when you work with racist scumbags like Tommy Robinson
I like some of his views.
or EDL,
I don't agree with them all.
yeah, you know,
I can agree with
if they
some of
had
what
the
he
chance,
says.
if they had the chance, they would shave your beard off and shave your head off as well. If they had the chance.
If they had the chance, that's why I don't agree with all
They
that
hate
they're
you as
saying.
well.
I know, I don't agree with all of that.
Islamophobia is the new face of racism today. Islamophobia
I'm a racist.
and racism is the same face
Let's not go down this
or the two
negativity.
sides of the same
Come on,
coin.
please,
Two
Adnan.
sides of the same
We've
coin.
been nice to each other for
Okay.
today, man. Come on, let's be serious.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's-
So
now we'll be more
about
gentlemen.
epistemology. We're talking about epistemology, the theory of knowledge. How do we reach the
science
truth?
of the Hadith.
Yes, and the Sikh tradition, because the Muslim tradition, as a
No, but we
Muslim.
don't have a claim that the hadiths are 100% accurate or certain things are 100%.
No.
100%
I'm saying the Sikh
credible.
tradition doesn't. I mean, the standard you're using against me. If
That's
I
the
use
standard you set up.
no, we
If you
haven't.
say to me something's perfect, I'm going to give an analogy to these guys.
Raj, can I finish?
No, can I just say one thing before we go on so we can
Yeah,
start?
yeah.
I'm an artist, yeah? If I put a drawing up here and I just left it here, people will walk past and appreciate the drawing for what it is. Now, if I put the same drawing here and I said this drawing is perfect, what do you think would happen? People would come over and they would criticize the drawing. The problem about Muslims, you're making claims that things are perfect, and then you're upset when people are criticizing or finding flaws in it. So if you write
First
perfect
of all, Raj, let me correct you. I never said the Muslim tradition is perfect. Number one,
is Al-Bukhari's hadiths all perfect from Aisha?
they are all authentic. There is a difference between
there's no
authentic
corruption in it.
and something imperfect can be authentic. Okay, so there's a distinction between authenticity and perfection. So you need to get your terms right. Second point I want to make is that I'm not getting upset. Do you think, you guys, let the viewers decide. Am I getting upset? Am I getting angry? No, I'm not. I'm very calm.
I never said
okay,
anything.
I really came with my mind made up that if I come across Raj today, I'm going to request from Raj to have a proper discussion.
I had a book
where I can talk and you can talk without interruption. So, coming back to the Sikh tradition, where it all started, when you actually scrutinize the Sikh tradition,
as he's
the stories.
Sikh, I'm actually a Sikh
again, when I start talking about Sikhs, Raj wants to completely cut me off. Wait, Raj, man. Wait, Raj.
Will you take it and read real history? It's got my drawings in there, so.
Okay. Raj,
Sikh history.
Little do you know, I have read sources on Sikhs you haven't read. I was last night, this morning actually, not preparing, out of interest. I'm always reading, okay? I mean, I have a book in my pocket here on Mughal history, the fall of the Mughal Empire. I'm reading on it all the time. It's the later Mughal period. So I'm always reading. So last night I was reading the Sikh history compiled by Mughal. Mughal was an English gentleman who had converted to Sikhism, and he wrote a sympathetic history of the Sikhs in 5 or 6 volumes, published by Oxford University Press in the year 1909. And it is considered to be one of the most authoritative histories of Sikhs. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with this lady. I think she's making noise. Okay, so I've read these sources, Raj, perhaps because when I talk to you, I realize that you haven't actually read about your own tradition. You don't know about it. Okay, a lot of these stories about the Guru's children being killed, or the Guru Tegh Bahadur being killed, executed, and the miracle he performed, and he said, I have put this piece of paper in my neck, and when you will chop off my neck, you won't be able to chop it off. It will be a miracle. And Aurangzeb said, bring him to my court, and we will see the Guru do this miracle. And when they put the sword to his neck, right, his neck got chopped off. The Guru died. Okay, and when they opened the paper, the piece of paper, it was written on the piece of paper. Wait. Yes, I agree. Raj, let me finish. I'll tell you what I believe in and what I don't believe in. Okay, I know Guru Tegh Bahadur was definitely killed by the Mughals, no doubt. There is we don't play games. We will tell you exactly how it is. Okay, I don't believe the stories around his person when he was killed or before he was killed. The miracle, for example, that Aurangzeb Alamgir was there in his court. He was brought there in the court of Aurangzeb Alamgir, and then he was told to perform the miracle. And he said, I have this paper in my neck, I'm wearing it, you won't be able to chop off my neck. So Aurangzeb said, okay, let's see the miracle. They struck his neck came off. He was let me finish very quickly. He was decapitated. Okay, and then they opened the paper. In the paper it was written that I have given my neck but not my faith. Okay, I'm translating it into English. Right? Now this story, it has so many problems with it. First of all, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb didn't have the time to deal with Guru Tegh Bahadur in this way, because what the Sikhs don't understand and realize is that at this period, early on in Sikh history, the Sikhs were a minor menace for the Muslims in the Punjab region. For the Mughals, sorry, not the Muslims, for the Mughals who were Muslims, who happened to be Muslims, right? The Mughals, Aurangzeb Alamgir had conquered 95% of India. He had bigger threats to deal with, such as the Marathas, the Rajputs, okay, who were actually real powers. These guys were huge, their military strength was huge, right? So Aurangzeb Alamgir was busy fighting them. 24 years of his life, Aurangzeb Alamgir spent in South India, in Aurangabad, okay? Because he couldn't move back to the north. He didn't come back to the city of Delhi, because he couldn't come back because he was, so when the battles, I'm finishing right now. When the battles were happening between Guru Gobind Singh and his armies and the Mughals, Aurangzeb was down in south, over 1,000 miles away, having no idea what the hell is happening in Punjab. He had appointed his governors, and he would give them instructions to deal with problems as you deem fit. Suppress the rebellions, because the Sikhs were troubling the countryside, the Marathas were raiding in the south, okay? So there were many problems. Aurangzeb didn't have the time to sit and watch Guru Tegh Bahadur being executed. So all of these stories have huge problems.
Doing a whole dialogue. All right, so let me just say, I don't consider myself an expert on Sikh history or Sikh faith. I've only come back to my faith around 4 years ago.
So why are you talking about other faith? You're talking about Islam, the science of Hadith, Raj, and when we talk about Sikh religion, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert. This doesn't make sense. You are an expert in Islam, on science of Hadith, but...
I'm a hate preacher, racist, brown racist.
No, we're not. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Ignore.
All right, can I just say something? I can come to Speaker's Corner and talk and have free speech, and I can say whatever I want. Yeah, but I think I want the basics of Sikh.
I defend his freedom.
I want the basics of Sikh team to come down here and have a conversation with Adnan. The thing is, you're diverting the conversation to something else. So let me put it back in.
How am I diverting?
Hold on, we were talking about the science of the Hadiths. I am saying,
Raj, you have no idea about your own religion, the Sikh religion.
What did I say to you?
Self-confessedly, you confess that you don't know anything about Sikh religion. You want to talk about the science of Hadith.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I said I am not an expert.
Are you an expert in Islamic science of Hadith?
I'm asking you legitimate questions about the scientific reliability of the science.
So,
but
when I do a comparison between Sikh,
you can comparison, but what I'm saying to you, is that you're droning on about Sikh history. I'm not even.
This is the man who put the full version.
Oh, well done, guy. I love the beginning, man.
You like the beginning, yeah?
It's scary.
Yeah,
you made me look like some super villain, man.
You are though.
I'll blame you if I get beaten up though, because
it's not
that thing is too good.
I think Raj,
it was like a trailer
Raj is coming closer to us.
This guy's good.
Yeah, no.
I like him.
I believe the more Raj will talk to us, the more he will come close to Islam. Because we the Muslims, you see, the Guru, the reason why I keep going back to Guru Nanak Ji is that Guru Nanak Ji is considered to be the founder of the Sikh religion, Guru Nanak Ji. Okay, he was a man who was born in a Hindu family from the Kashtri background. Okay, and he was born in the territory of Pakistan in the Punjab region. He was born in Pakistan, Guru Nanak Ji. And he was a strict monotheist. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Just give me 1 minute.
That guy interrupted.
So Guru Nanak Ji,
you need to let me talk.
Yes, Raj, you will.
Come on, do you want me to be the abrasive? You want me to be the abrasive Raj or the nice Raj? Because I've got a split personality. I can throw hard.
Can I finish?
And I can be very nice.
Can I finish my point?
How you treat me is how I treat you.
Okay, can I finish my point?
Yeah, I'll be nice now.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you.
And let me talk for 15 minutes.
Guru Nanak Ji, in clear words, said that Prophet Muhammad was a prophet of God. Guru Nanak Ji said that. And my request from the Sikh community is that if you are truly Sikhs, and I believe you are, okay, and if you truly love Guru Nanak Ji, and if you truly follow him, then Guru Nanak Ji said Prophet Muhammad was a prophet of God. And if Guru Nanak Ji is telling the truth, if he is right in what he is saying, then Sikh religion as we know it today cannot be from God, because Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet of God, as he himself said it. And Guru Nanak Ji said that he was a prophet. You see the contradiction?
Can I
you see, if the Sikhs really want to follow Guru Nanak Ji, then they must follow Prophet Muhammad. Okay, if they don't want to follow Prophet Muhammad...
I know you're trying to convert my Sikh brothers, never going to happen. Maybe one Sikh that's converted.
How do you know that?
Let me just say
there
something.
are people watching out there, they may be thinking.
Dude, let me just say something. For me, I've never contested any of this. I've said to you, even over there, I just said it, that I believe that Islam has a lot of truth in it. But I feel that
Guru Nanak Ji said he was a prophet of God.
Yeah, I've already said that. I would never have not said it.
So
that's why I put him.
Let's talk about the implications. If Prophet Muhammad is a prophet of God, what does that mean, Raj?
You need to let me talk, man. You want me to become
yeah, sure, please. Raj, can we have a conversation, please?
I know, but you need to let me talk.
Can you respond to me as well then?
You're over talking me. I'm sitting here.
Please do talk. Please do talk. But I have a question. If Prophet Muhammad is a prophet of God, what does that mean?
We believe, I believe, and I from the Sikh, there is a lot of flaws in Islam, but we do believe that there's truth in it. Yeah, can you not understand that concept?
But Guru Nanak Ji didn't say that.
It doesn't matter what you think Guru Nanak Dev said.
Well, what did he say? Let's talk about it.
That Islam, he said be a good Muslim, be a good Hindu.
Did he say Prophet Muhammad was a prophet of God?
He said Prophet Muhammad was a prophet of God.
What does that mean? Let's talk about that statement. If Guru Nanak Ji said Prophet Muhammad is a prophet of God, what does that actually mean?
Hold on. But what did I say to you?
Yeah.
I believe there was corruption, in the Hadith.
Who cares what you believe? Guru Nanak Ji is bigger than you, right?
But Guru Nanak criticizes Islam as well.
Not Islam, Muslim. No. Guru Nanak Ji criticized. I'm not saying Guru Nanak Ji was Muslim.
No, but you're saying he's telling.
I am not saying Guru Nanak Ji he was a Muslim.
But if his ultimate belief in reincarnation is completely against Islam, why would he tell Sikhs to become Muslims?
You tell me then why Guru Nanak Ji is saying he's a prophet of
Look,
God
I can believe
when he himself is not following
I
him.
can believe that Muhammad was a prophet of God. I can believe Jesus was a prophet. I don't believe Jesus was the son of God. I believe he's a
No,
prophet.
we don't believe that. We don't believe he was a son of God.
I don't either. I believe he's
So-
a prophet.
so-
So I can believe that, yeah. It doesn't mean that everything that Prophet Muhammad did or said, he was an infallible man to me.
Right.
Yeah. He might have made mistakes. The hadiths, in my opinion, are factually incorrect in certain places and may have been altered for
Right.
political reasons. Yeah?
I understand.
So for me, when Nanak Dev is saying that, Muhammad is a prophet and follow Muhammad, he's saying to the Muslims to follow Muhammad, not to anybody else. He's telling the Hindus to be Hindus, and he's telling the Christians to be Christians. It's hard for Muslims to understand, but Sikhs don't believe in a heaven and hell like you do. We believe everyone can attain heaven. You, even if I criticize you, I think you're a bad person, or I don't do in Islam, it's your deeds that are going to send you, not your faith. Sure. Yeah. So this is a hard concept for non-Muslims for Muslims to understand. When I say I criticize Islam, they probably think I'm saying you're going to hell, like Christians say. I don't say that. I believe you can go to heaven. You can go to heaven for your deeds, not for your faith. But I truly believe that the Quran and Hadith and something is happening along the way through for political reasons, for mistranslations, that the Quran and the Hadith are not 100% correct, and I believe Guru Nanak Dev knew that as well. And this is why he criticised Islam as well.
Okay, now you're finished and I'll talk now. First of all, you said the Guru Nanak Ji was not a Muslim, and I accept that he was not a Muslim. Although a lot of Muslims tried to claim that he was a Muslim, he died a Muslim because he believed in certain aspects of Islam. And what we know of Guru Nanak Ji is that he said clearly that Prophet Muhammad was a prophet and Muslims should follow it. You acknowledge that already. Now my problem with this notion is that if Guru Nanak Ji is Jag Guru, to translate it into English, that means Guru for the whole world, or Guru for humanity.
I'm allowed
That's
to have
what
a little
Jag
thing
Guru
now.
means.
I've made it, look. I'm allowed to have a little speaker, man.
So if Guru Nanak Ji is Jag Guru means Guru who came for the whole world. Okay, if that's the case, then Guru Nanak Ji making the statement
He's the best.
that Prophet Muhammad was a true prophet of God.
You could trust me with it, man.
Okay, Raj, are you listening?
Nothing's gonna happen.
Are you listening?
Yeah. Look at that trust. Look at that trust.
Raj, are you?
Yeah. Come on.
Raj, are you listening?
Yeah.
Like I was listening.
Yeah, I was.
Please. Okay. So if Guru Nanak Ji came as Jag Guru, which means Guru for the whole world or Guru for humanity, then why is he telling the Muslims to remain Muslims, follow Muhammad if you want to be successful? It doesn't make sense. It's like Prophet Muhammad coming to people and saying, I am a true prophet of God, follow me, you will have success. And also those who are Christians, follow Christianity, you will also have success. You will also have success if Jews remain Jews, and if you become good Hindus, for example, follow your scriptures, you will. What's the point of Prophet Muhammad coming and preaching in the first place? Just like that Guru Nanak Ji, if he's saying follow Muhammad, follow him if you want to be good, if you want to be successful.
Follow Muhammad.
Yeah. So
not
that means Guru Nanak Ji didn't come for the Muslims, right?
He came for everyone.
If he came for the Muslims, also, then why is he telling the Muslims to follow Muhammad?
Can I reply? It's a concept that I think non-Muslims or non-Sikhs cannot understand or get their head around, because the concept of Sikhism is universal. We believe there's truth in all religions. Yeah, we just believe our particular way is the best path. It doesn't mean a Muslim doesn't have truth within their faith, or a Christian. Yeah, it's a universal truth. Yeah, Guru Nanak Dev Ji could never have been a Muslim or never become Muslim, because the one thing is, his philosophy for the afterlife was reincarnation. So that in itself is completely contradictory to Islam. Now, I
never claimed he was a Muslim.
I know, but some people say he's Muslim, but he could never be Muslim.
I know better.
And he also said that, Hindus should be good Hindus. The whole point of the philosophy was that you should practice your faith. Yeah.
Then he was not Jag Guru.
You should practice your faith. Yeah. Remember, he did criticize the bad points. There are bad things in Islam and Hinduism, like the caste system in Hinduism.
If you have good health, and you've made £1 million by hard work, and you want to teach others how to have good health and make £1 million within a year, okay? Are you going to go and tell them those who are, doing a rubbish job at whatever they do.
We didn't
Are you
say they
gonna-
were doing rubbish job.
Okay, so
This is the difference. You're not
Right.
understanding the concept. Because I believe you can go to heaven. You're just slightly...
no, Guru Nanak Ji could
I
have said,
know.
all Muslims, your prophet was a good man, but his teachings are imperfect. Now follow me, I'm the Guru.
And what would
I
have
am the
happened to him?
Guru.
And what would
Guru
happen to
Nanak Ji
him?
never.
What would have happened
what
to him?
would have
What would have
happened
happened to him under Islamic rule?
What would have happened
If
to
he
him?
said he was a prophet,
to him? What would have happened? to
he
him?
would have been executed.
That's your assumption.
That's my assumption.
That's your
So
assumption.
I think
okay,
Guru
because
Nanak Dev Ji was...
I'll tell you many more people who preached a lot more extreme things than Guru Nanak Ji were not executed. In fact, Guru Nanak Ji was well respected even in the Muslim community.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
and this shows even Guru Tegh Bahadur. When he was on his way to meet Aurangzeb, according to your history, he stayed with a Muslim.
I know,
Right?
I'm not disputing this.
So all these things are there. Okay, Islam is there in the Sikh religion cannot be separated from Islam.
When-
It is impossible. In the Guru Granth Sahib,
Yeah, Baba Farid,
you
a
read
lot of
Baba
it-
Farid's
yeah,
poetry
yeah, I've
as
never
your
denied it.
scripture.
Yeah, and-
Baba Farid.
So this actually disproves your point.
It
Because
doesn't.
I am not
It
telling
doesn't
you
disprove my point.
that Islam is completely wrong like the Christians do. I'm
Right.
telling you there's elements of truth. In fact, we believe it so much in
So,
our
why
own books.
why don't
Hold on.
Sikhs follow
In
Baba
our-
Farid's religion?
In our book here, in our Guru Granth
I
Sahib,
don't
we
want them to
believe it's so-
convert. By the way, I don't mean to.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not asking all the Sikhs to convert to Islam.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't get that.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to, if you're convinced, it's your choice. But we're not out here to force you to come into Islam
we know that.
or put Islam down your throat.
Yeah, well,
and Raj is not here for that purpose.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
for that purpose.
In case the Sikhs.
But the thing
you know
is, you
that.
have to understand. What I want to do here is just put a shout out to Basics of Sikhi to please come down
Yeah.
and really clarify this. I'm doing my best under limited knowledge.
We had this discussion with Jagraj, by the way.
Yeah, I know he's.
Jagraj has passed away, sadly passed away.
So
and we were very
this-
saddened by that.
yeah,
Seriously,
yeah,
even,
he's an amazing
even
guy.
among the Dawah guys
Yeah.
here, we remembered Jagraj in good words, and we believe he was a good guy. And he even spoke to me on the phone.
I
He
know.
called me and he said he's going to have a discussion with me. And that never, unfortunately, never materialized because he fell.
He's an
he fell
incredible,
ill.
incredible loss.
Yeah. And I would invite anyone from the Basics of Sikhi or any Sikh brother or sister out there to come and talk to us about these
About
issues.
theology.
Theology. Let's talk about it.
I'm-
Let's open up. Let's open up to the world. Let the world see that we are able to have decent discussions and reach
Are you
conclusions.
recording?
Yeah, he's recording.
Are you, Pathway to Misery. This guy has edited my video by 45
Have a
minutes.
go afterwards. Have a go.
He's the worst editor and worst filmmaker. If he's here, security needs to be around him. He's machine,
right.
edits out sound.
Okay.
This guy's alright. Pathway to Misery.
So-
Not Pathway to Mercy, Pathway to Misery.
I
man.
want to continue. All of
Love
these,
you as well, man.
all of these stories that are made up about the murder of Guru or the execution of Guru Tegh Bahadur, okay, by the Mughals, okay, or even the killing of the Guru's sons, Guru Gobind Singh's sons in battle. Two were killed in battle. Other two were allegedly put alive in a wall by the Muslim governor of Sirhind, Wazir Khan. Wazir Khan, yaar, you keep saying his name
I
wrong.
can't, you know, I
Wazir
hate him
Khan.
so much,
Okay.
I can't say his name. I do on purpose.
और आज कुछ सीख ला यार.
No. I can't say his name, man. Every time I say it, I
just
feel like
spoke Punjabi,
I
by the
feel
way.
sick. I feel sick.
Okay, I know Raj. I know the Punjabi
He
language.
knows Punjabi. He's a Punjabi like me, man. You- I
That's
love-
where the passion
You
is
know,
coming
I
up.
went up to Mansouri here. You know, Mansouri hates the word Punjab. So I went Punjab, because on the day here, when I first met him, I'm proud
Because
to be Punjabi.
Punjab during the Mughal
Yeah.
period.
And he doesn't like it. So when I met him today, I didn't even say hello. I said Punjab.
Because Punjab was
I
a
triggered
rival
him, man. I
to
triggered
Bengal.
him.
Mansoor is from Bengal.
I know he triggered.
Okay, no. Because the Punjab region was a rival to the Bengal region in agriculture. These were the two most richest provinces of the Mughal Empire agriculturally. These were the breadbasket. That's why the Sikhs were taken so seriously by the Mughals when they posed a threat. When the Sikhs rose and caused trouble in the Punjab region, the Mughals wanted to suppress it so that they can have stability in the region that was providing bread for the empire.
Can we go back to the science of the hadiths that we originally?
Well,
was
you don't know
talking
anything
about
it. There's
I
no know,
point
of discussing it with you.
You've not
You
answered.
don't-
You've
you
not,
said- you
let
said-
me put the question to you one more time, yeah? So get it on there. Trigger warning, please. Hey, can you put trigger warning on there? Like, have it flashing.
Can we
yeah?
have a discussion on
Flashing
Janam
trigger
Saki?
warning, yeah?
Can we have a discussion on Janam Saki?
Oh no, can I just ask you this one question,
we have a
yeah?
discussion on
Can we
Janam
start
Saki?
with one question again? I'm trying to ask you, if Muhammad is in a room by himself with Aisha...
I've already answered the question.
No, you haven't.
You keep
You
repeating it.
You're
and
saying...
repetition is
no,
not
but
going to...
No, I'm trying to... let me just one more time to clarify, because I still haven't got it.
Is this the last time?
Yeah,
then?
the last time. Muhammad is in a room with Aisha by herself, yeah? Aisha is infallible. She's a human being who can make mistakes. She also has kind of a little bit of a problem with Ali and some other people. So she might have political motives to kind of distort text. Muhammad, for argument's sake, is perfect. This is for argument's sake. I don't think he is. And he's having revelations from God. He then says to Aisha, this is what God said. She then walks out. There's no third party in the room.
So you don't know anything about our religion.
All I'm trying to just answer me.
You don't know anything. Why would you ask a question?
It's a very.
So let me correct you. That's not the case.
Can let me just finish
that never happened, Raj. It's hypothetical.
But how many narrations are from Aisha by herself with Muhammad?
Okay, very good point. Very good question.
How many narrations?
Wait.
So it did happen.
First of all, the revelation was not.
No, let me just clarify something.
Okay.
Was she in a room by herself at some point, and then done that narration afterwards?
There were many wives of the Prophet alone with him in the room. By the way, gurus had multiple wives.
Yeah, I know.
You were talking about
no, I didn't.
polygamy.
Oh, let's clarify this shit.
Yeah.
I never disagreed.
Gurus had multiple wives.
I never disagreed
So
with polygamy.
yeah.
I never disagreed. I said the reason for polygamy. Muslims believe in polygamy because they believe that men are carnal and that they crave more women.
That's a lie.
This is what Mansour said. I believe that.
What Mansour says is not Islam.
Hold on.
What Mansour says? Mansour is a human. He can have his own understanding.
You told me he's the best debater here. This is what he said to me.
I said he's one of the most. I said, Raj, hold on. Raj, you conflate terms with each other. When I say best, that means perfect to you, right?
All right. Can I just explain?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with polygamy if in wartime.
If Mansour said that, I don't believe you
Yeah, he
understood
did.
Mansour.
I'll do. Can
I
we
don't
edit
think Mansour.
Content for everything? Can we edit it in? When Mansour said it, men are more carnal.
No.
Editing. Can I just say something? Yeah. I have no issue with men having multiple wives in wartime.
So why did the Gurus have three?
Because at that time we had a population that was so small that there was no other way.
Gurus wanted to reproduce.
We want to reproduce. I have no issue. I would have 4 wives. Yeah. But if we have a situation where it's just the reason why you have it all year round and forever is for the reasons that you have a particular inclination.
Now, Raj,
let's talk about the 70% now, but let's sit over there where it's a bit more kind of chill.
Let's do it afterwards.
Yeah. You do your bit.
Let's finish this one now. But the final point I want to make is, before we talk about other religions, it's best to study our own.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to go away and seek sources carefully, right? Study where they come from, study where the stories come from, the detail about the Guru's sons being killed and what they said to their grandmother and what the grandmother said back to them. All these stories the Sikhs are telling in the temples to their masses, to the audiences. Where did the stories come from? Who is narrating these stories? What are the sources? How do we know they're true?
I do the drawings.
Right,
so
because you do the drawings doesn't mean they're true.
I know, but I'm the wrong person to talk to.
Nice talking to you. Let's talk afterwards.
One thing. What's this?
Yeah. That's Guru Gobind Singh.
Guru Tegh Bahadur. In the Thanda board.
Okay, do you think... Okay,
Raj, this happened.
Okay, can you go back to that picture? Go back to that picture, Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. Do you think the entire Mughal Empire stopped to see Guru Tegh Bahadur's execution?
No.
Do you think they cared that much?
This is an interpretation
exactly.
that I've done, and I say that as well.
Interpretation.
It's not, whether it's false.
The Mughals, the world did not stop. Yeah, very good one. That's very good likeness.
Yeah.
That's very... But I thank you for having a decent discussion. It's getting better.
Yeah. And look what they trust me now. Look, you trust me. We need to talk about the hijab as well, because I do love the hijab. I think if more women wore the hijab, it would be a good thing. So I do agree with a lot of things.
Good.
I don't agree with the burqa though.
Good.
Or the niqab.
Burqa is a choice. Who is pointing fingers at them for wearing niqab or wearing burqa is a coward, because that person doesn't understand the fact that she has the right to wear what she wants to wear.
So I agree with you. Everyone has a right to wear what they want. In a bank, I was in a bank and
lift the veil. Lift the veil.
I was talking to the cashier.
When you go into a bus, lift the veil. When you go to the airport, lift the veil.
I was talking, This is when I realised it was an issue. Before that, I didn't really care. This was like 4 years ago. I was in a bank. I had a queue behind me and 2 women with burqas.
Behind you?
Behind me, right behind me. I was talking to the guys who had a bit of a problem with security issues.
Okay.
So I was talking and giving information. For the first time, when I looked around, I was like, I don't know who this person is. And I have to admit, I felt intimidated. Not intimidated physically, but I thought, alright, who is this person? And for me, in a bank, at least it should be out or in a bank.
I agree. I agree 100%. In a bank, at the airport, in a bus, when you enter a bus, when you go to the doctor, when you're checking your identity, or whenever you are asked. Let me go further. Let me go a step further. Whenever a Muslim woman is asked to reveal her identity by the security agencies, for example, police or intelligence or whoever, they should let them see. Okay, so anyone else, any Tom, Dick and Harry walk in, they should get lost. Okay, it's not their right. Exactly. I agree 100% that when they go to bank, they should lift it. No, I don't think you're hateful. I don't think you're hateful. I think you've been misrepresented online.
I'm actually quite nice. I agree with a lot of what you think.
No,
Raj, maybe next time. I don't know how strong I'm going to be.
No problem. No problem.
How long are you going to be?
I don't know. Same here.
If we got time, then maybe have a chat. It's quite complicated.
Raj, I want to invite you to my house. Sit with me. And Musa, sit with me. The things I will show you, you have probably never seen on Sikh history. You'll be blown away. Let's put the coins from the Bandi Misl period, from the 18th century. No. For that you can have the cameras off. Yeah.